What I just wanted to talk about is the fact that consumer goods companies really have to engage with consumers nowadays. Consumers are going to make or damage the brand, so it's very important for consumer goods companies to be able to manage the set of experiences that will matter to their consumers. And as a matter of fact, today, you're going to thrive as a brand more by the quality of the experiences that you sell than by the quality of the products that you sell. So keep that in mind. It's extremely important to actually deliver a set of consistent, rich experiences to consumers through the entire shopping journey. So what does that mean? Right? Consumers go through a set of experiences from pre-shop to shop to post-shop. Right? And it's very important for them to see the brand as rich and consistent throughout all those experiences. So if you take a look at it from an outside-in perspective, you put yourself in the shoes of that consumer, that shopper, from researching to buying to consuming or using the product to recommending the product to your friends and family. What's very important for consumer goods companies is to increase the lifetime value of that consumer, right? And to make sure that you turn those consumers from anonymous, unknown shoppers to brand advocates. Why is that so important? Is because you want them to pull your product from the shelf, not a competitor product, when they go to the retail store. And you may actually even sell to them directly on your e-commerce site or through jet.com or Amazon, right? So it's very important to build that brand equity that will make sure that they buy your product instead of somebody else's. So how can a consumer goods company do that? Well, first of all, what's very important is what we call sense and shape demand, right? The ability to really capture demand at the point of purchase and be able to leverage that information to really understand what's motivating the consumer to buy your brand. So sensing demand is extremely important, and then leverage that information to shape demand. Shaping demand can take the form of short-term pricing and promotion actions, can take the form of mid-term, long-term product innovation efforts. What's very important is to blend all of those together to create more demand for your products. So that's the front end of the entire set of processes that are important. The second one is synchronizing demand, because ultimately, you've got to make sure that you map your demand to your supply through synchronization, and that you make sure that ultimately both your demand and supply are synchronized to generate the healthiest P&L, revenue, and profitability results. What's very important is the synchronization of demand and supply. So we call that synchronizing demand. So once you now have mapped your supply plan to your demand plans and you're able to replan in real time. Remember, it's all about clock speed. It's all about being able to replan in real time when your demand and supply plans are not aligned. That's the purpose of synchronization. So once your supply plan has been defined, it's all about responding to demand. So how can you build agile and flexible supply chains that will create more value, more responsiveness, more agility, and less risk? In that if you have a supply source that shuts down, you're able to very quickly replan and still serve the needs of the consumers, either through retail or direct shipments to consumers. So you have to be able to build a supply chain, depending on your activities, that will handle truckloads as well as eachers. So responding to demand. And then finally, sustaining and growing that demand, which is the phase where you listen to the consumers and how they use and consume your product, and you're able to make sure that their experience is positive, and you drive them to recommend your product to their friends and family, thereby maximizing the value of that consumer experience. So once again, what's very important is for consumer brands to be able to manage the entire set of experiences for consumers from pre-shop to post-shop, by sensing and shaping demand, synchronizing demand, responding to demand, and growing and serving that demand over the lifetime value of that consumer, that shopper, to make sure that you transform that shopper from an anonymous shopper to a known brand advocate who continues to maximize the value of their experiences back to the brand, not only by what they buy themselves, but also by the positive value of the recommendations that they post on their social channels and networks, which then brings the value of their networks together with them to maximize their lifecycle value.